There's two types of people in this world. Owners and renters.
What you gonna do? I'm the man. You were scared. I knew it.
Love is a fictional story inspired by a true relationship I had with one of my uncles when I was growing up in Baltimore, Maryland as a young boy. It's a story of when I was a young kid, my uncle was my hero, and he was someone I looked up to when I was in the city, actually in 1987. And basically, Love is a story inspired by that relationship and what it was like for me being a young boy looking up to, at the time, my hero. For me, as a young boy growing up in Baltimore, I actually was 9 years old. Woody in the film was 11. I had an uncle, and my uncle was evidently, this infamous figure within the city. But for me, he was just my uncle. Actually, one of the co-creators of the HBO series The Wire, a man by the name of Ed Burns, actually did surveillance on my uncle for over a year and was a person responsible for his prosecution. I had no idea of this when I was a child. It was something that I just very auspiciously happened upon years later once I had moved to California and was attending film school at USC. I just by happenstance meet Ed Burns' partner, David Simon, who was a Baltimore Sun reporter, a writer, and we're having a conversation, and I referenced, to him that I was from the city and I had an uncle, and I told him who my uncle was, and he was like, wow, I'm sure there's a lot of things about your uncle that you don't know. He called my uncle the great manipulator. He said that my uncle had the ability to use anything or anyone to get what he wanted. So the fact that he had me in the car with him late nights driving through Baltimore made him believe if a police officer ever passed, that the two of us wouldn't look suspicious if he was transporting drugs. It's just like a father and a son in a car. And that was the moment for me that, I immediately called Justin, my writing partner. I said, this is it now. This is what makes this compelling, is what if it is a boy's rite of passage and it's all happening in one day? What happens when this kid, Woody, experiences his uncle kill someone for the first time? How does that shape, his young identity? What does that do to a child when they're exposed to violence for the first time? That's what really, really, struck a chord with me deeply, to be like, this could be truly a great cinematic experience.
When I'm looking to Woody, she did more.
Well, so still talk to her, but once she gets to the scene, you really don't have a whole lot to say to him, but because we're hanging down here on this angle so much, kind of just open your face up and have moments so we can see both your eyes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, here we go. The ensemble cast of Love. For my first film, I'm really, really fortunate and thankful that I had such great actors to work with. There's Common in his basically breakthrough performance as a leading man, Michael Rennie Jr., who truly is a wonder kid in this performance in the movie. There's Dennis Haysbert, and there's Danny Glover, and there's Michael Kenneth Williams, and Lynette McKee, and Megan Good, and Sammy Rotibi, and Anwan Glover, Clark Johnson. I just was really, really fortunate that so many people came out. I really believe that when you write a story and you write something that emotionally moves people, I really think that actors really take to that. And action from the car.
The story itself is just a powerful story when you think about a human being who's really trying to live their life right, and they've experienced certain aspects of life that are the street life, but that doesn't make them a bad person. And they may have missed out on having their father in the house. And it's like something to really learn about people when you're exploring that aspect and thinking about, man, who was my father figure like for this character? And then at the same token, how that would affect me fathering my nephew, which was part of the story in itself. When I got to that in the story and just realized that those were part of the dynamics, that made it very interesting. And man, like as an actor, I look for really quality roles. So this was an incredible role for me to play. This gives me permission so I can get a loan on the house so I can get my business started. That's all it is. What you always tell me? Well, if you don't work, you don't eat.
I know what I used to always tell you. But speaking of work, did you call Miss Tiny about that job down at UMBC?
I ain't trying to work for nobody. I'm gonna be my own boss. Well, I connected with Vincent because I dream too. I dream of achieving and doing well for my family, and like having people really be able to look to me as like someone who is doing well and can help them and can help guide them and will help provide for them. And I know Vincent had that desire that a lot of American people have, is to achieve and to dream of something and to go and live the right path, live on the right path and go in the right way. So I connected to that too, because I'm definitely someone who has dreams and aspirations of achieving. And I also connected with the obstacles that you experience when you are going for those dreams, because you know, at the same token, no matter what, whether it's been for me in music, for me as an actor, for me just as a human being, you go through the valleys and the peaks and those experiences and the challenges where somebody's saying nah, or somebody saying no, you can't do it, or they creating an obstacle for you, or just your old habits, start drawing you back, like they start pulling back at you, and I can relate to that for sure.